Hello and welcome to Points of Interest. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, along with my co-host, James, over here.
Hey, guys.
If you're new to the show, each week we collect video game news and stories from around the internet, bring them to you in a nice, concise package. Takes about an hour or so. Sit down, get comfortable, buckle up. Here we go. You can get the show on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher for the audio versions, YouTube, VidMe, and Facebook for the video versions.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow us on Twitter, at IR Games, we'll tweet out the links, ask questions, get you guys' input on what you want to hear on the show. Tell the left shoe joke of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that kind of thing.
I often do that with our Twitter. So.
It's specifically left shoe. If you're a right shoe fan, you can go watch somebody else's podcast.
That's right. There's a right.
But until you find the right shoe podcast, James, what have you been playing lately?
Boy, you know what I've been playing? I've been playing adult. I've been playing life.
You've been playing responsibilities.
Yeah. It's been a week, man. I haven't been playing much because by the time I get home and like I'm done, the day I'm done with everything, I just want to watch something.
Yeah.
And so I cannot get enough of this show called The 100.
I remember hearing about this when it came out.
So it's on the CW, and apparently the CW just has a lifeline to like my brain and my soul because I watch almost every single one of the shows they have running.
CW shows.
I mean, I love all the DC Universe stuff. It's pretty cool, pretty good stuff. The 100 is getting ready to start its 5th season. Here in January. So I've been going through on Netflix. I got 4 seasons of it. And in the last week and a half, I think I watched two full seasons.
Nice.
So
that's how it should be.
It's so good. Like it starts off a little slow in the first episode. It's got to start, set stuff up.
Gotta lay a foundation.
But it's basically like humanity destroyed the Earth in nuclear wasteland. And so they've got something called the Ark, which is where the rest of humanity lives. And so they're going to send 100 down to the Earth. See if it's inhabitable now because it's been like 97 years or something. So it's all about that. And so obviously, I mean, I'm like 3 seasons in, so I won't say anything about
Drama
it.
ensues.
Yeah, but it's awesome. It's interesting. It's just, in a lot of stories and a lot of shows, you see characters like are developing and then they kind of get into their role pretty early on and they just flesh that out more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And the characters are constantly like conflicted and shifting how they go, and there's a character 3 episodes in, you're like, oh, I hate that guy, he sucks, and then maybe 3 episodes later he's like, no, I get it, he's pretty cool, I like him. So
he had his reasons.
So it's interesting. It's, I don't know, maybe I'm just too easy to please with shows, but I cannot get enough.
We have been
of it.
known
It's
to
awesome.
be easy to please.
So if you're looking for a new survival kind of post-apocalyptic, it is literally post-apocalyptic, but it's not like all desert wasteland bullcrap that you would think of when you hear post-apoc. So check it out.
Nice.
Boom. What have you been playing lately?
I hopped in on the Ghost Recon Wildlands free weekend.
Yeah, you did.
But I think it actually ended today.
Yeah, they extended it.
That's kind of been the theme lately with like the Battlefront beta they extended.
Yep.
Which it's over now, far over. As is this, but I hopped in because we played this. We played the beta,
open beta,
when it came out
right before the game launched.
So I was playing it because I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
and I was kind of looking for kind of an easy thing to do over the weekend. I hopped in. I kind of wanted to just play through the game and feel really cool, so I set it to arcade difficulty, which is the easiest one.
Yeah,
and we're just like rolling through, wrecking fools.
Right.
But I played Ghost Recon,
Mm-hmm.
on PS2, and I had Ghost Recon 2 as well.
Right.
And these are just vastly different from that.
Oh yeah.
It's cool because your squad just goes with you. You don't have to tell them to do anything. You can if you want to, but you don't have to.
That's nice.
You roll up on a place and you send your drone out, very much like Watch Dogs. Send your drone out, find all the people, and they stay marked, and then pull your drone in, and you can just start like
right,
picking them off one by one, walk in, do what you're supposed to do, and walk out. And so like each section is your working your way to whoever owns that sector for the Santa Blanca cartel,
right,
to try and like start dismantling this whole thing.
Yeah.
So I got through 3 sections.
Okay.
When I was playing it.
Pretty big map, or
yeah, it's pretty big because there's that section that we were in the open beta is one person section.
Oh, okay.
And so once you beat that, you move into a section that's relatively just as big.
Yeah.
And like that section is surrounded by sections on all sides.
Okay.
Basically.
Are the sections pretty varied, or is it all just desert, or not desert, but like jungle?
They're pretty varied because that first one was pretty jungle and hills and lots of driving between spaces. And the next one was like all pretty much all water.
Ooh, okay.
So you get in a boat or you get in a helicopter, which adds its own different difficulty because you're swimming up and it's loud. And you can't like pull your gun up from the water and shoot someone. You have to like get to land somewhere if you want to take them out, or you get up on the dock, wherever they're at. So it adds different little things, and it was fun.
You gonna buy it?
Probably not. At the end of the day, like it was a fun kind of like, hey, I'm spending my weekend doing this, and like at the end of the day, I'll hop back into probably Metal Gear and Destiny.
Yeah.
Now that I'm done with that, I have Stardew when I'm playing on the go. Super Mario Odyssey is coming out later this month.
Yeah, it is.
And then my life will be over until Super Mario Odyssey is beaten.
8 days, guys. 8 days. Get excited. I'm excited, man.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be awesome.
Make sure to check my budget so I can buy that game.
Yeah. Switched my Battlefront pre-order to that, and very excited for it. So.
Yeah. I looked at, there was a thing on Amazon.
Yeah.
Was it for Mario Odyssey? It was all in like pounds and euros and stuff, so I didn't know if it applied to
gross
United States stuff, but the physical version of Mario Odyssey was like $50 and the digital one was 60.
Weird.
And
I know when I went to pre-order
it might be the other way around.
The physical was definitely 60. Problem with digital is, the limited size of the Switch stuff. So you probably end up with a micro SD card before the day is over.
Yeah. Which are not super expensive.
No, it's not bad, but if I don't have to buy it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's one of those things, but they also said you could get it from Amazon, whichever version was cheaper. And if you had Prime, comes down to like $40.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I might look into that.
Yeah, whatever works, man.
But I haven't yet, so I can neither confirm nor deny its existence.
Right.
But moving on to the first topic of the day.
First topic. Got a lot of topics.
Second, if you're reading the list like we are, but you're not, so it doesn't matter. Sony is releasing a game on the Switch.
Is this under their normal? This is a new publisher, right?
Sony Music Entertainment.
Ooh. Are you ready for this name?
Sony Music Entertainment has been...
You ready for how wonderful this logo and name is? You better get excited.
Bus driver.
Unties. The idea being that it's untying the the restrictions and the issues you have with small developers and big developers and like red tape and stuff like that. It's just breaking all that down to get the best people working on the best games.
Good luck.
It's all a bunch of hand holding and stuff. This kind of looks like tubes to a uterus. So that's not.
This kind of look like a rabbit.
I could see that too.
Look right there. Yeah, there's like
two
ears and
I could see that
face.
But yeah, that's the logo they're going with. So Sony Music Entertainment just announced.
Yeah, just announced. So the title of the game that they are making is called Tiny Metal. An indie tactical battler is one of several upcoming games to be published by Untie, Sony Music Entertainment's just announced publishing label. Unties will publish games for PlayStation 4, PSVR, PC, and yes, the Switch.
What?
Other games to be published by Unties include 3D action title Last Standard, survival robot action game Merkava Avalanche, both for PC and unnamed consoles, and rhythm action Demo Reborn for PSVR. I should have said
PSVR.
PS4 and PSVR in the same one.
This is a shot from Tiny Metal here.
It's essentially a tower defense game.
It is top down tower defense, a little bit of isometric camera, but it'll be on the Switch. It's a Sony game on the Switch.
Yep, so
very interesting.
That step, and it's not exactly like Sony Santa Monica or
right.
Yeah, like
we're talking about Sony Music, and this is like ready to go. This drops in towards the end of November, like November 21st or something like that.
Yeah,
so pretty quick.
So basically, they're putting out this game from a new publisher in kind of a niche thing.
It's
in the same time span of Super Mario Odyssey.
That's true. I mean,
so,
it's a few weeks.
They
later.
can't like plan it out that well.
I mean, if you plan around every game,
Odyssey, like if this is coming out the 21st, Odyssey's coming out the 27th. Like,
well, no, so this is November. Like Odyssey's
November.
Like,
I should October.
Yeah, no,
My
like
bad.
November 21st. So we got a few weeks, and I think it's just a sign of the times. Sony's trying to diversify, and they see the possibility and the growth that can come with the Switch, and might as well make a little money while you're here.
Yep, and that's the thing I heard recently on another podcast was they're talking about why we're seeing a lot of indies on the Switch.
Yeah.
And no virtual console yet. And one kind of obvious speculation of no virtual console is the fact that we keep getting like the NES Classic and the SNES Classic and probably an N64 Classic coming up not too long from now. We've heard rumors going on about that stuff, but also another theory being like they want to get these indies on the console and like thriving. So like Golf Story is doing amazing. Stardew Valley is the highest selling game on the Switch right now, which isn't a surprise because Stardew Valley did so well on PC.
Right.
And so a lot of the top 10 games on Switch, only 2 were made by Nintendo.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, they need to start getting third parties in there. Then you've got upcoming titles we're going to talk about later that are actual big name like AAA stuff coming.
Yeah.
You know, they're making a lot of the right decisions. It's just not all of the decisions that I specifically want.
Yep. Nintendo's doing some good stuff over there, and props to them. Moving on to what could possibly be the most devastating news of the entire day. Bungie has pulled Destiny 2's Monty Python emote from sale in the in-game microtransaction shop. If you haven't seen this, the emote named Bureaucratic Walk is a replica of John Cleese's infamous footstep from Monty Python's Ministry of Silly Walks. It is my favorite emote ever. I have it on my main character.
Yep, I did too. I bought it this week, so
yeah,
it's
I'm glad
so great. I did.
Yeah, so it was pulled. Bungie hasn't said why specifically it was pulled.
Just gonna leave it playing. It's just so
perfect.
good.
But rather than any kind of copyright infringement, the bureaucratic walk appears to have been involved in a manner of wall glitching shenanigans, so people could use it to get into walls they weren't supposed to get into, and you could like break the raid.
Yeah, it was interesting because you would face your back to where you wanted to go, kick up, and then when your character forces backwards,
like, oops,
you crouch, and then you're there. So it was leading to some issues getting out of map and stuff like that. So they removed it from sale. If you had it before, you still have it now.
Okay, good.
They have not taken it away from you, so you can continue to wall glitch to your heart's content. I'm sure they will find a way to fix it so it doesn't do that. Either way, it's really awesome.
Yeah, I love that emote.
Yeah. I'm really glad I bought it before it went away.
Yeah.
So
if they take it away, as long as they like give me like a ton of bright dust to buy another emote,
yeah,
I think I'd be okay with it.
I can't imagine they'd take it away. I think people would be up in arms about
it.
So
ridiculously up in arms because at the end of the day, it's just a funny walk that your character can do. So
all right, what's next?
But moving on. Speaking of things that are getting pulled, Visceral Games is no more.
Yeah,
this is an article you found and sent to me at the end of our workday.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where to put it in there, and I felt it really worked best right smack dab after we talked about that. So Visceral Games is done. The EA is closing the doors. They're not.
Yep.
They didn't say like, oh, we're gonna do this in a few months. Like, nope, they're done. Doors shut. Things have already been reassigned. So who is Visceral Games?
Visceral, you would know from developing Battlefield Hardline if you played that wonderful, atrocious monstrosity of a game. It had fun elements to it, and I think we talked about that in a previous podcast.
It was such a cheap cash in on a theme.
Yep.
Cops and rock. It could have been a game mode in Battlefield 4.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was a really repetitive gameplay loop. And also the Dead Space franchise. So that's probably what they're more popular for, more beloved for, if I had to pick one, because Dead Space is quite the popular franchise.
It is. Not for me. I could never do it. They did all 3 Dead Space games. Obviously, Dead Space 4 was always rumored because it's Dead Space and there's going to be another one. Now there's not.
Nope. At least not from Visceral.
Not from Visceral. The Visceral was run by EA, and so EA closed the doors, and the big thing that they were working on was an unreleased title about Star Wars. It was an action adventure game in the Star Wars universe. Not as much was known about it. Way back in the day, I say way back in the day, 3 or 4 years ago, we saw stuff for 1313. I don't know if you remember that from E3 a while back. So that got shuttered, but that stuff went into this one. And apparently the game just wasn't going over so well. Amy Hennig was leading the charge on this. She was the head of everything.
You would know Amy Hennig from Uncharted 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
She started working on Uncharted 4, and then a few years ago, she left Naughty Dog, which is when Neil Druckmann and... Ooh, I feel so bad. The other guy took over.
Yeah, and so she left early 2014 and eventually came on at Visceral Games to do this. But apparently the game that they were working on wasn't going over so well. To quote To quote the article here, it says, in its current form, it was shaping up to be a story-based linear adventure game. Throughout the development process, we've been testing the game concept with players, listening to the feedback about what and how they want to play, and closely tracking fundamental shifts in the marketplace. It has become clear that to deliver an experience that players will want to come back to and enjoy for a long time to come, we needed to pivot the design.
They're gonna like step back
Whoops.
and make a Star Wars battle royale game.
That
Confirmed.
That would be funny. So the assets are going to be moving to Worldwide Studios. Have already started the process. Apparently, the code name on the project may be Ragtag.
Yeah.
That was in an internal email here in the article. Make sure you guys go read the full thing. But that studio is led by EA Vancouver. AI Vancouver.
Eh?
And they've worked on like FIFA, NHL, UFC, Plans for Zombies, Need for Speed, pretty much all like the mainstays. They do a lot of
EA's
everything.
Tentpole titles.
Yeah, exactly. So they've already been working on the project apparently before this with Visceral, so it's not a crazy thing.
And it did sound like Visceral was kind of ramping things down and dispersing employees out to different pieces of EA.
Yeah,
So and I'm sure not everyone made it to another sector of EA.
right.
And things are still up in the air with Amy Hennig and what she's going to be doing.
Yeah, they said that they're in talks with Amy to figure out what's next, which is code word for like we didn't like what she was doing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, we don't know all the details about when she left on Naughty Dog and Uncharted, if she was just done with it or if they didn't like the direction. We don't know if she was the problem here. So it's an interesting thing that she's back in headlines again for major franchise.
It's one of those things. I mean, I would think what it was shaking up to be was being like a Star Wars Uncharted style of game, as far as like that linear storytelling and that action.
I got you.
Wouldn't feel the same, wouldn't look the same, obviously, because it's not Naughty Dog.
Right.
But it
just
would be
didn't
that
connect.
same, like, you're playing a story and you're not really exploring the world. Like, you're exploring a very linear world.
Right.
But maybe that's not what they're going for in this kind of
interesting.
in this era of all these open world games like Wildlands and Metal Gear and this kind of stuff, which is even phasing out, but still like is a big plug, especially with stuff like Breath of the Wild that just came out. It's like, all right, we want something a little less linear that feels like you can do whatever you want.
Imagine what an open world Star Wars game that would be like without thinking of like an MMO.
KOTOR.
Yeah, I mean that's the end of the day. That's what you come back
Nice
to.
Steel
is
Republic. If you're
that's just what I think
Yeah.
of. So originally the game was projected for end of fiscal 2019. They said they're reworking that. So
what you mean scrapping a whole game and trying to come up with another one in 2 years isn't easy
nah, apparently not.
or
Well,
feasible?
they get to reuse all the assets. So yeah, that's pretty much dead.
That's the Assassin's Creed.
Which is sad. It's now the second, big Star Wars game, story-based kind of thing that's been shuttered.
yeah.
This is kind of disappointing.
Well, you wonder how much of a hand does Disney have in these kind of games? Since they own Star Wars, like would they have stepped in and like seen what's going on and said, like looked at EA and be like, we don't like this, you need to shut this down.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that it was that definitive, but that they would at least be consulted on it. So it may have come down to, that could have been some of the outside people that were coming in and looking at it and say like, we don't really like this direction. It's just not going to work. It's not going to connect with our audience, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would think that they have some role because
much
it is
like Episode 9.
it is their property. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. It is disappointing. We haven't really seen anything from the game and know much about it.
Yeah.
So it's not the worst thing in the world, but I always love Star Wars games.
Yeah.
So it's always disappointing when we don't get that opportunity.
Yep. So we'll never know what would have been.
Yep.
But we know what's going to be for E3 next year.
Ooh.
E3 is finally getting a logo update.
I'm so excited.
Praise the
We're ready
Lord.
to talk about E3 already.
I know. It's E3 is coming
May
up. I
just be
remember
a logo, but
E3
still.
last year was a little bit exhausting. Kind of being
Little bit?
I mean, a little bit. 'Cause, I mean, it was the first year we've really been in, I guess what would quote unquote be kind of like the media side.
Right.
Um,
Actually paying
I
attention
know, like
to
we're not
everything.
like at E3 in war rooms writing articles for big websites or anything like that. But we're sitting down making podcasts after every show, which we will do again this year. So get ready for that.
Or next
year.
What do you
Well,
call-
this upcoming E3, you know what I meant. So next year's E3 is going to look a little bit different. The new logo that was in need of rebranding, and honestly, it's probably still in need of a little bit of rebranding.
I mean, it's way better than it was.
It's better than it was. If you never saw the old E3 logo,
Trying to design thumbnails with that old graphic was some of the worst things I've ever had
it
to
was
do.
just like so. It was like hardcore, like
1995.
like 95. It was just this like it was this big E and like it was like isometrical camera on it. Like look at this 3D thing with the words going around it.
If you really want to see, go look at the link below. The link that we used was interesting because it showed this one and then it showed the next one, which is a little bit bigger, and then it showed like the original logo, and it was like I had to scroll through the image. Like it was a really poorly formatted like image embedded in the article.
I just find it so hard to believe that it's taken like the biggest gaming conference in the world this long to rebrand.
Yeah. I like it.
And it's even not that different.
I mean, it's a minimalist style, which is kind of.
I think what I don't like is the red and the yellow, which is ironic because I'm like a big Chiefs fan, and I realize I'm wearing like red and yellow right now, but it's just.
I mean, both the red and the yellow are kind of faded. They don't really pop.
That might be it. I don't
which
know.
I mean that goes along with the minimalist.
It'll look a lot better, like not on a white screen, like maybe over a video or over a graphics.
Note that I didn't put this on a white screen. It put it on a white screen.
It came like that.
I'll be interested to see. Because there has to be a drop shadow. Right? Otherwise, you'd have to have a white background on everything.
I mean, probably not. You can. I mean, white and red and yellow don't like blend into a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And if it's a watermark or whatever, it doesn't need to like pop too much.
We'll see. I'll be interested to see how they use
a lot of things because our logo is like white, red, and black. Those colors pop on everything.
This is true.
It will show up apparently at E3 2018, which will take place June 12th to the 14th in LA.
Mark your calendars.
We will not be in LA. To my knowledge, if we are, believe me, you'll know because we won't shut up about it once we find out.
Only thing I talk about.
Yeah, and for months on end. So just basically tune out when that comes out.
I'll just have live Twitter videos. What's the big Twitter platform with the Periscope? I'll just Periscope every day talking about it.
Does even call it Periscope anymore?
I don't know.
I think it just turned into live Twitter.
I don't know.
And you can do Twitch from your phone now too.
That's crazy.
So
for that IRL stuff for sure.
Yeah, bro.
Saw one Twitch stream the other day. It was a guy overseas, but he had a mirror sitting in front of him on his coffee table, right? And he had a camera, like a webcam that was recording his TV playing games, and it had the mirror in it, which served as his face cam. And when he would get like sub alerts or like followers or whatever, he had a friend off screen that would just throw confetti in the way of the camera. It was amazing. I can't remember the channel.
That's the greatest thing ever.
But it was pretty awesome.
Man,
anyways.
I want to go find that now. All right. Moving on to the next Nintendo Switch news announcement. And guess what? It's not about Nintendo Switch shortages.
Oh, look at that.
It's like 2 Switch topics in a row. We haven't talked about Switch shortages. This one is Doom on the Switch.
Yeah.
So we're getting it.
We knew about it.
We knew it was coming.
You know, we knew they've announced it back at some other time before now.
We took this from Polygon. We like to research a lot. Here at Inverted
It wasn't at
Reality.
E3. It wasn't at E3 that they announced it. But at any rate, we know that they're coming.
It was
on
at one of their
Switch.
Nintendo Directs.
Yes, that was one of the last Nintendo Directs. That's right. So Polygon dropped a preview on the gameplay.
Yep, gameplay
Doom.
preview. So, Sorry, I'm like gathering myself as I'm like reading through these paragraphs again. It runs well.
Yes.
So if you came here to this topic to be like, does it work? Yes, it works. So now we're going to dig into some of those nitty-gritty details about how it works. So first things first, Bethesda isn't sharing details on frame rate or resolution, and for good cause. The answer is neither are as good as the Xbox One or PS4. I mean, which you can't be surprised.
If you thought they were going to be 1080p 60 frames, like you're
insane
misguided.
And you don't know what the Switch is.
That
it can run some cool games.
That being said, console versions right now we enjoy 60 frames per second, 1080p. Feature helps advance the game's focus on speed and precision. However, the Switch version runs mostly at 30 frames a second pretty smoothly.
Which, if there's a game, and this isn't a knock against it, this is just me thinking through my Doom experience when I played Doom, how fast and how like twitchy Doom is.
Yeah.
And boy, when it comes out, it needs to lock at 30. Mm-hmm. Like if it dips below 30, you're gonna notice
it's gonna be tough
on a game as fast as Doom.
Right.
So like dipping below, like from 60 to 30 will be a difference. And I haven't played Doom for a good long time, and I don't think I'll notice when I get it for my Switch.
Right.
But if I had played it on PS4 and then went and grabbed it for my Switch, I'd be like, this looks awful because I'm moving at half the speed.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's probably not as big of a deal as it sounds, just because numbers sound scary. One of the concessions needed for the Switch are hard to overlook. The Joy-Cons do not feel good in Doom, or do not feel great in Doom.
Not a huge
according
surprise.
to the article. Makes sense. Joy-Cons weren't made to be first-person shooters,
Yeah.
so you would want a pro controller.
The small analog sticks, the short dead zone that they don't even have a dead zone. They're so small.
Yep.
It just, they're short. He says, the short travel coupled with the reduced frame rate made the game speed feel out of control. When he picked up the pro controller, there was a lot more natural feel to it, which makes sense. I mean, if you're, when I get it, I'm gonna try it on the Joy-Cons because I feel like I could probably adjust to it, maybe turn up sensitivity and work on it. Maybe I'll get a pro controller. It's just expensive.
It's one of those things. And what he said in the article, I didn't put it in our notes here, but at the event they had all the Switches docked and pro controllers out, so they didn't have you like picking it up and playing it. I think he asked him like, "Hey, can I dock it and play it and see what it feels like, just so I can report on it?" But this would, if any game is going to convince me to get a pro controller, it's this. But also, I get games on my Switch that I can take with me.
Yeah.
So that's like the whole reason to have a Switch, right?
Right.
So I want to play Doom on the go. So it might be one of those things like I'm just gonna adjust to using the Joy-Cons on the side of the thing, like I'm playing Doom on a handheld console.
But the nice thing is, you still have that kickstand on the Switch, and you can still put it up there and break out your pro controller. So it's not the worst thing in the world. My carrying case I have for my Switch won't also hold a pro controller.
Yeah.
That was a sacrifice I chose to make, mainly because I didn't have a pro controller, and I wasn't that concerned at the time because I knew it'd be a while until I got one. Now I know when I'm getting one.
Yep. The kickstand on the back is a cool feature. I do wish it could kick back a little bit farther.
Yep.
So like if I'm on my desk at work over lunch and I put on the kickstand, it's facing a little too flat to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like immediately looking around my office like, all right, where's a higher surface I can put this thing on?
Yeah. That's the nice thing is about at my desk, I've got a standing desk, so I put it on the top shelf of my standing desk and it works perfect.
When I'm down in like my tech booth, I have the little bump, the little like rise up there. It's perfect.
There you go.
So I do have places I can play it.
Right.
So to quote the article, quote, "So yes, Doom on the Switch is Doom in most of its glory on a portable console put out by video gaming's most family-friendly brand. It's both not surprising, successful video game coming to a successful video game platform, and enormously surprising, highly demanding and extraordinarily violent shooter coming to a family-friendly, mobile-powered handheld."
Boy, those are a lot of big words in that, but I definitely agree. I mean, it's something we haven't seen from Nintendo for a while, the idea of not only third-party support, but supporting a wide range of games. This is not the only Bethesda title we're going to see. We're going to see Wolfenstein New Colossus, which is their new title coming out. We're going to be seeing that on the Switch in 2018. It comes out before that for current consoles, I believe. Also Skyrim, which
less important
because it's at this point a six-year-old game, and they're not even getting the special edition one. I don't believe.
No, they're getting like the original, like the PS3.
So it's very interesting, and I think it's really positive for the future of the console in terms of getting AAA games. So it's like, okay, Wolfenstein's coming out on the Switch. Does that mean I probably buy it there instead of on my PS4? Like, I don't know. But now that's an option.
Yeah.
I didn't have that option before. And the idea of taking it with me, really, it's like my wife likes to watch stuff on Netflix, or maybe she's working on homework and wants her TV show on in the background. Great. I can pop my Switch out and still play Doom or play Wolfenstein or whatever. Then I have a more expensive controller that I can throw when I get frustrated too.
Exactly.
So it's a 2-for-1.
It's perfect. The Switch is everything the Vita was meant to be.
I would agree with that.
It for real is. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about it, and it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, the Vita was meant to be that thing you could pick up, and granted it was different. You would remote into your console and play it that way.
Yeah.
Or you would play, console experiences on your Vita. Problem is, it just never actually got there. It just didn't get the support, and it wasn't as comfortable as holding as the Switch. And the Switch, Nintendo will fight tooth and nail all day that is not a portable. It's not a handheld console. It's not a handheld. It's a console you can take with you.
Yeah.
And so, and it very much plays out that way, and it works exactly like they said it would, and it's exactly that. Like, my wife wants to play Destiny or watch a show, I'll be like, okay, snap on my Joy-Cons and pick it up, sit in my chair, and we're playing in the living room.
Yep.
It's perfect. I love it. If you
I
don't
love
have a
it.
Switch, go out and get one. They have ramped up production quite a bit. They should be hitting shelves like crazy coming soon.
Especially with the holidays coming up. I've been seeing them quite a bit in the stores I go to now.
Yep.
That being said, it's been, 7 months since it came out? So
Yep. Still
took them a while.
Yep.
But worth
late
it.
to the game, but they're still here.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to have some Super Mario Odyssey bundles if they don't already. Keep an eye out for that. If you want to pick that up, it'll probably be, $300 comes with the game.
Heard nothing but good things about Super Mario Odyssey, so I'm excited for it. I will be ordering it here soon.
Indeed.
But moving on, the things that you should be jealous that you can't get. Sony announced a $46,000 PlayStation bundle, and it sold
What?
out.
Well, a little clickbaity.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one bundle.
Yeah, it does
So
say
of course
bundle.
it sold. Yeah.
Singular bundle.
I read that and I read the article. I was like, oh, man, that's so clickbaity.
It is.
It is.
But I mean, there it is. Sans PlayStation.
You get a Mazda MX-5 is the main feature here.
That's what costs the most, if you're curious.
Yeah.
Sony has announced and sold out of the most expensive PlayStation 4 bundle in history, available exclusively in Taiwan, so we couldn't have got it if we wanted to.
Nope.
The $46,000 package comes with a PS4 Pro, a PlayStation VR headset, a subscription to PlayStation Plus, a Thrustmaster TGT racing wheel, an Apogee AP1 racing seat, a 4K Bravia television with HDR, a copy of Gran Turismo Sport, and a limited edition 2018 Mazda MX-5.
Honestly, that sounds like a pretty
pretty good
decent
deal.
deal. Like, I don't know the
numbers we were
breakdown of
talking
the
about
price.
did not account for the TV and the racing chair.
Yeah, like the car itself, I don't really know the cost of that one. So I'm guessing that you probably
Numbers I was looking up,
even.
the kind of top end editions of the car run at like $31,000.
Okay.
So
I mean,
I
with
don't think you're
everything
getting $10,000 worth of accessories.
No, probably not. But
It's also a custom car because it has the GT Sport logo on it. You can almost see it right there.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like it. It's an interesting thing to do. But yeah, whatever. You know, more power to you. It's a cool thing you don't always get to see.
Yeah, I remember Call of Duty did that thing with Modern Warfare 3 when it came out. They had the black Modern Warfare 3 Jeep.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Those were getting on it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the worst thing about it was you didn't get the copy of the game with it. You just got
I know.
to go buy the game.
Like there was literally nothing special about the Jeep other than
just
it had
had,
that
like, a-
Modern Warfare badge,
badge
on it. Like
on
you
it,
could just
yep.
buy the badge and put it on the car yourself
That's right.
if you know what you're doing.
But I mean, you still got to go spend $40,000 on a Jeep.
Which totally worth it. But I would buy a Jeep all day.
I know you would.
Moving on to some upcoming games coming out
Yeah.
this week.
Mhm.
So on today, as we're recording this, October 17th, a few
Mhm.
games coming out. Don't Knock Twice on the Switch, based on a movie that we watched the trailer for before the podcast. That seems pretty lame.
Indeed.
The tagline for the game is what kind of hooked me
Yeah.
because it says one knock to wake her from bed, twice to wake her from the dead. And so it's kind of a horror kind of walk around game. Looks like Layers of Fear we were talking about before the podcast
that's
got
the
started.
name.
I looked
Yeah,
it up while we were,
yeah.
while we
I
were talking
wondered.
about it. It was Layers of Fear, which is like walking around collecting stuff, which unlocks the story, and the game kind of gets a little.
Yeah.
It's unnerving. It's not really like scary. It's just kind of like yee.
Scared
So-
me.
Yeah, it had a few jump scares in it. But we'll see. Didn't look like the game reviewed really well. The movie was
Mhm.
not accepted very well.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It is on the Switch. I don't remember if I mentioned that. So it is a horror game coming to the Switch.
Trying to appeal to everybody. Nothing wrong
Yeah,
with that.
I don't think it's a bad idea. It's just different to see like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there's a horror game coming to Switch, a Nintendo console. Gran Turismo Sport came out
Only on the
Is out.
PS4.
only on PS4.
Yep, came out a couple days ago.
NBA 2K18 Physical Edition is on the Switch this today.
Yeah. Whatever
South
works.
Park: The Fractured But Whole. It's finally here.
Finally.
Xbox One, PS4, and PC. WWE
Mhm.
2K18, Xbox One, PS4, and PC as well.
Gross.
On October 19th, Life is Strange Before the Storm, Episode 2, Xbox One, PS4, and PC.
Kind of forgot that the first one had already come out.
I did too for a second there.
I didn't really check out the
It
reviews
came and went.
for
I
it,
heard
but-
really good things about it. People said it was weird because there's different voice actors and you don't have the time
Ah.
travel power. But
Right.
they also said it was
Just
really good.
different people.
It fills in some gaps that
I
some people
guess
had
it-
from the first
I guess
game.
it kind of makes sense because they're working on the actual sequel right now at the same
Yeah.
time, but I think it'd be kind of like
I think part of the reason they have different voice actors is also because from the there was a strike
oh,
around
that's
the same
true.
time.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So like a SAG strike or something.
Yeah, I think so.
So, which always is rough on anyone. On October 20th, Fire Emblem Warriors on Switch and 3DS. So if that's your scene,
Yeah, that's
Uh,
a
hop to it.
good
I suppose.
good game for you.
I have seen stuff about Fire Emblem Warriors forever, and I have never
Pretty
actually
sure
looked into what it
I'm
is.
pretty sure it's like turn-based RPG
I
stuff.
think it is. It's,
So no
yeah,
thanks.
it's not really our thing. But if you've never made it this far in the show, or you're new to the
Mhm.
show, thank you for being along with us on this ride. We like to end our show every week going over games on the drop. If you don't know what the drop is a weekly release of PlayStation games put together on the PlayStation blog by one Ryan Clements at Palm Cider on Twitter. So if you hate it, tweet him, let him know.
Yeah, don't let us know.
We don't do anything. We just read, and we like to poke fun. What I realized like last week, the week before, this is mostly just like poking fun at like bad descriptions of games.
Yeah,
because a lot of them come in like from, especially the Japanese ones. They come in and they're not like edited at all. They're just like translated to English, put on the blog. I'm like, all right,
it seems a little rushed.
Go for it.
Yeah, we're pretty hit and miss with it. Abyss, the Rays of Eden.
That looks like a boss.
It does.
That looks like a boss health bar right there.
Yeah, it does. The art style almost looks like you remember Treasure Planet?
I was thinking it looked a little bit like Bioshock Infinite. It looks like the girl from Bioshock Infinite.
Okay, all right. Discover and investigate a forgotten underwater city built in intriguing Art Deco style. That's not intriguing. No thanks.
But there's Bakasuka Wars 2.
Oh.
Free your allies, lead your enemies to invade a Bassam empire. More than 30 years ago, Bakasuka Wars captured the minds of 80s game enthusiasts across the globe. Now an official sequel is finally here for PS4.
Huh. It looks like a
30-year-old sequel that looks like it was done 30 years ago.
Paper cutouts.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if that one burns. Chaos Child, that font. That font looks a lot like Persona 5's like in-game.
It does look like Persona 5.
Font. It also makes me think of the old Hack series back in the day.
Elex, ELEX, however you want to say that. It's a vast open world RPG set in a science fantasy world full of freedom and choices where magic and technology are fighting for dominance.
You know, I am never one to poo-poo a game before I see it. But an
Except
open world RPG that I have not heard literally anything about, probably not having a good chance.
Yeah, I mean, on the cover art, it looks like the top, it's like sliced diagonally, like your mom sliced your sandwiches in middle school or elementary school.
Please, high school,
college for some. But like the top portion is a robot, and the bottom portion looks like some kind of fantasy warrior.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yep.
It's from THQ Nordic, if anyone's curious. So
really?
Yeah, right?
Interesting. I thought they were working on some other project.
Well, I mean, this probably wasn't that. It was, so that's the distributor / producer / publisher. It was developed by Piranha Bytes.
I think Nordic has worked like developing another game.
Yeah.
Be publishing this one.
Yeah, you're right.
Gran Turismo Sport. I don't think we actually talked about in releases. It's out.
Yeah.
On PS4 and retail. Or digital and retail on PS4. Not coming to Switch.
Yeah, it's we briefly mentioned it in the What's New This Week. It's they just had a demo for it. We played a little bit of it. Real driving simulator.
It's not our thing.
Not our thing. Like, it's really good at what it does. It's gorgeous. It looks really
beautiful.
Cool. That being said, it's just not our thing.
Kind of beautiful. You roll a car out on stage on and hang your entire
a lot of people,
console on.
Gran Turismo, a lot of people, like, they buy PlayStation consoles for that game.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big deal. This isn't like Gran Turismo 7 or 8 or 22, whatever the next number is. It's kind of like it's a little different. It doesn't have as many cars. There was like 150 cars, and everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, it should be like 400." So again, I don't know. I'm just repeating the words that I hear in places.
Regurgitating like race fanboy hate.
Yeah. So that's, whatever. If that's your thing, man. I don't know what to tell you. But you can have different colors of cars.
Truth.
So be watching for that customization.
And spin around a lot. The Jackbox Party Pack 4.
Whoa,
this
4?
looks interesting. Yeah.
I thought they were still on 2.
Nope. They were definitely on 3. Or they skipped 3 and they went straight to 4. But I'm pretty sure they were on 3. Yeah. The biggest and fourthiest... I didn't read the description before I started this. The biggest and fourthiest addition to the storied party game franchise is here. Use your phones or tablets as controllers to play with up to 16 players, plus an audience of up to 10,000. So these games look fun. They're party games.
They always are. It's I just wish
we should do this for New Year's.
Yeah, we should really try doing these sometime. We need more friends that would be okay with it, and I definitely think it could be interesting.
Yeah,
because it's built for non-gamers. It's built for people that are just wanting to hang out, and you can come in and do stuff. So fun little party games. Megaton Rainfall. Become an indestructible interdimensional super being in this first-person superhero game and save Earth from an alien invasion.
What?
That's amazing.
Speaking of alien invasions, Real Farm! Out October 20th on PS4. Pull on your boots, fire up your tractor, and cultivate success in Real Farm, the most immersive agricultural simulator around.
Don't we already have Farming Simulator? Like,
Yeah.
Is this a competitor to it?
I don't know.
Do we need multiple Farming Simulator games?
Yeah,
Like,
all like 10,000
What
people that buy those
audience
games.
is that people, like, which one are... why do...
I don't know.
Such ridiculousness.
The Fractured But Whole we've talked about. WWE
Yep.
2K18 we talked about.
Indeed. You totally skipped past Realms of Arcania Blade of Destiny.
Totally skipped past.
Faithful remake of the 1992 original.
Oh my gosh!
Adored by a generation of RPG fans and one of the most successful RPGs of the 1990s.
So people that were playing RPGs 25 years ago are like, oh, Realms of whatever is coming out. I'm going to go buy a PS4 Pro just to play that curb stomp of a game. Good Lord. I was like, who buys this? Like, if it's you, like, man, good on you, but heads up. Like, we have things like Doom and Gran Turismo or Breath of the Wild or Wolfenstein or literally anything else. You can play Real Farm. You can play Real Farm and you're playing Realms of Arcania. What's wrong with you?
Maybe it's really good.
Let your freak flag fly, I suppose, but
You don't know, man.
maybe don't let it fly in the realm of Arcania.
We're going to look this up later, and we're going to decide exactly how we feel
If I'm wrong,
about
I will
that.
come back out with a public apology on next week's podcast.
Well,
So-
it's $15 on Steam, and it's rated 6 of 10.
Good.
That could be the old one, though. Oh, nope, that's the new one. Never
I
mind.
don't know.
Awful.
On PlayStation Video this week, Dark Tower is out.
Wow, already?
Yeah.
That went quick. I can't say I'm too surprised. It's every
Also,
3 months.
And
Heard it wasn't
Creation
good.
is out.
I heard...
No, I was really
Dark
disappointed
Tower-
by everything I heard about it.
Well, see, I didn't
Never
read
saw it,
Stephen
though.
King, and like I don't know any of the stuff behind it.
I've
They
read The
said
Shining.
everything I heard about it was like, if you didn't read the books and you don't care about it, it's a good movie. If you read the books at all,
Sounds like us.
you're gonna hate it because it's Dark Tower. I guess is a really big book. There's a lot of stuff in the
It
series.
is several
with it.
books.
Yeah, it's several books, and they kind of just took storylines from everything and kind of combined them together into one
Yep.
movie.
So that's the thing.
Short movie. It was like 88 minutes or something.
I was going to read the books. I do audiobooks a lot, so I was going to listen to the books, whatever. But I went to go get the Dark Tower, and then it popped up and said Dark Tower Part 1, and then Dark Tower Part 2, and Part 3, and I was like, is there like somewhere you just put them all together in a nice like 30-hour book for me to read, or no? So I got The Shining instead. Was not disappointed. That's a fantastic book.
can't do Stephen King.
I'm
That's
thinking
not my
about
thing.
reading it, honestly. Like after The Shining, I was like, wow, this is a really good book. And like everybody says it is a really good book. And I'm like, it's a 44-hour audiobook. Because
That's
the movie, like the TV
awful.
movie from back when,
Right.
followed them as adults, I think.
I think so.
Followed them as adults. And this new one follows them as kids.
Right.
The book is them from being kids all the way up through adulthood.
Yeah.
So
it's a
the
pretty
book
big
is
one.
really long. They just like broken into different pieces.
Right.
So
Well, they're making more than one It movie too,
Yeah.
especially with how this one did.
yeah, it did really well, and I'm actually kind of interested to see it. So
Gosh, I don't know if I
See
can bring
It, the
myself
movie It.
to do it.
Maybe some Saturday at like 9 in the morning we'll rent it and we'll
That's
fire
what
it
we'll do.
up.
We'll do when we go down to Kansas City in December.
That's perfect. That'd actually be a great time to do it.
Yeah, we'll see.
But guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing, sharing with your friends, telling them all about the show.
Yep.
Follow us on Twitter at IR Games. Tweet at us, comment below. Let us know what you thought. Let us know if we missed something or if we have something you want us to talk about, or if you play Realms of Arcania and why. Put it down below. We would love to see that. I would say talk with you about it, but we don't have any knowledge of Realms of Arcania, and we probably won't after this show. But until next time, thanks for hanging out, guys.
Bye.
Bye.